Oh. Well, hello and welcome everybody to another adventure of bombers, mad dreams, and champagne wishes and all that fun stuff. No, not really. Thanks for everybody being here tonight for Bombers Blitz on the College Football Mafia Network. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. And you know what? I keep doing this. I mean, you gotta love live TV. As a kid, to get change, you had to like send a memo and call the radio station and do all kinds of stupid stuff to get anything to change. And here I can do it just like that, and I don't need anybody's permission. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I was traveling last week, although I made it back for the show on Friday. It was a long weekend. I'm really glad to be here tonight. And I tell you what, college football is just the best, isn't it? I mean, I'm a fan of the Seahawks. Everybody knows that. But boy, oh boy, if there's not a mad, mad world. And when I was dreaming this up, and the name Mafia came to mind, it really. Sorry, I'm gonna do a rant here. Do I have a Moen? Did you give me all my? Are there little thingamabobs on here where I can do rant? No, I need to ask Moen to put that on there for me. I'm gonna rant for like 30 seconds here. All right. So being a fan of BYU is kind of like being a fan of Radar O'Reilly a little bit. Right? You want Radar to win, but not really. Nobody wants Radar to win. Everybody wants to make fun of him, put him on the outside, and keep him at arm's length. Because in a lot of ways, Radar is kind of smart, right? He knows everybody. He knows who to call in an instant to get anything done. He has those phone numbers memorized. He doesn't have to look up on some phone book on who to call. And being a fan of BYU is kind of like that. You get no respect. And even when you're supposed to get respect, you don't get respect just for the hell of it. And I'm not going to go into the reasons why all the time that happens, but at the end of the day, it all circles back, right? And time works its way back. And now we're in a world where college football is absolutely like being in the mafia. And you're going, how did he get from Radar O'Reilly to being in the mafia? It is a complete nonsense if anybody thinks that college football, the apparatus of college football, isn't one of the most rigged games in all of human history. Always has been. Every time there's been somebody pop their head up, they change the rules. Again, not going to go into details, but there have been circumstances in decades past where somebody begins to succeed and everybody else goes, yeah, maybe not. So let's tweak it a little bit. Oh, okay. They start winning polls. People start liking them. Let's change to a computer model. Okay, people start changing the way they play to meet the expectations of a computer model. Oh, wait, we got to go back to a poll system. And then if we're going to have a poll system, how do we have a championship? Do we vote for a champion? No, we're not doing that anymore. But we're only going to put the teams we want to be in the lead in the playoff. And the last team to get screwed by all of this, all of college football, the apparatus, and this is me ranting. This is Nathan Bomber Brown. Put it on me. My opinion is that when Florida State put its ugly little head up and people started paying attention, wow, Florida State's really good. Oh, wait a second. No, they don't get to play. Not because they've gone undefeated or have lost anybody or just because in their minds, popular perception is you lose your quarterback, that's your team. And yet I guarantee 1,000% if Georgia would have been 12, 13 and 0 and had lost their quarterback, is anybody keeping them out of a playoff? Of course not, right? This is stupid. It's a stupid question. And when you say it out loud, people think, wow, really? Wow. How does this work? How could this possibly be the thing that just is keeping us back? So tonight we're going to talk about things that are kind of screwed up in college football a little bit. We'll talk about college football. Obviously, I want to crow a little bit about BYU. I want to crow about the Big 12, who I don't care how many soliloquies you have on Twitter or Fox or anybody else. Big 12 is good football. Very, very good football. And because of NIL and the transfer portal, there's no reason why anybody, if they can't get the right people on the field and they get the best coach, and I think coaching in college football probably makes more sense than anybody except for a little league baseball coach. It's little league baseball is way up here, and then college football coach is right below them. That can affect the most change on a university and a paradigm and a storyline and everything else. You know how you know that? Because just on the other side of the Rockies, which are on my east, Deion Sanders, who won at Jacksonville State. I'm not putting down Jacksonville State, but who'd even heard of Jacksonville State if you're not in the Southeast specifically, and not if you're a fan of HBCU schools, right? And yet Deion, primetime Sanders, there's no way you're keeping him out of the conversation. And you know how we know even more why that makes a difference? Because when Colorado starts to lose, the narrative isn't, oh, Colorado just isn't good enough to compete. The storyline is, oh, people are jumping on and jumping off the bandwagon. It has nothing to do with the team anymore. You're only talking about the storyline around the team. Deion may be one of the smartest people in college football. He's figured it out. He knows what the secret sauce is. And the problem is sometimes your aspirations don't meet your expectations. And to my friend Fergie and all the fans of Colorado Buffalo football, this is a painful time. It's been such a ride. You go up and you go down for historic. I'm talking about Colorado's won national championships for historically strong brands to be so affected by the week to week. It's what's wrong with college football. It really is. It's what's wrong with college football, not what's right with college football. And so that's where we circle back. We got massive, massive concerns about new rules being passed in college football land that say, well, you can't bet yesterday. Today you can bet. And then Greg Sankey comes out and says, wait a second, we don't want people to be able to bet. All of a sudden now they're possibly making it so you can't bet again. And this is on pro sports I'm talking about. Does that make any sense to anybody? Of course not, because there's nothing to make sense with. You cannot argue with college football because there is no who. There is not one single entity. I would propose Bob Thompson should be, and I know Bob's not watching, but he cracks me up. Bob gets pissed, right? He'll go online and say, look, if you're in the business, you don't criticize the business. If you're in the family, you don't talk about the family. And TNT stepped outside their zone, and Bob's like, I don't think so. You guys haven't earned your stripes. And if somebody's charting my conversation tonight, it's going to be kind of tough because I'm going to go from Radar O'Reilly to the Mafia to college football to Bob Thompson back to, and it's going to be like that all night. I apologize. I will take calls tonight. I want you guys to be able to tell me your opinion. I'm going to go through the few. I mean, you guys follow me on Twitter. Please follow me on Twitter. Please subscribe to this channel on YouTube. If you're on Twitter right now watching live, that's awesome, by the way. I'm glad to hear that. And two, do me a favor, open up another window, minimize on your phone, and go over to College Football Mafia and hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. We're trying to get to 6,000. That's the next goal. Jackson Johnson says it's 10,000, but I say it's what did I just say? What the hell? Anyway, 6,000 is my goal. And that's where we want to be. And that's what we're trying to get to and really pushing hard to do. I do that every day. So if you follow me on Twitter, you know these are the news items I've followed in and out of promoting the Big 12, in and out of promoting BYU. What matters most to me is the way college football is run, the heart of college football, what each and every one of you love about college football, and at the same time, hate. And if you're a fan, let's just say a blue blood, keep it simple, stupid, right? Of the 8 brands, wherever they go, you assume they're college football royalty. You don't care about any of this. You don't even care about Greg Sankey. You just show up, put on your cleats, you go out and play, and Notre Dame hasn't won a national championship since '88. Nebraska since '95. Is that or '96? USC since 2006. I mean, you could mark these things going back and back and back, and yet once you're the brand in whatever it is, you don't have to look behind you. Everybody else is scrapping and climbing and trying to get to where you're at. And you notice I didn't talk about conferences at all. I don't think college football is about the conferences in 5-6 years. Well, at this point, we're marking time. 5 years. I think a college football playoff will be completely different. And we'll talk about the 24, as Greg Flugar, again tonight, great comment on Twitter, said Fox is talking about this 2014 playoff. Fox doesn't have a part. Well, they have the sublet part of the playoff, but they don't own the playoff. Who owns the playoff? ESPN owns, well, Disney, I guess, owns the college football playoff, and the college football playoff is a business to make money. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the top 25. I think the top 25 is fascinating. It's great to see new schools in. I look forward to that, really. Let's see what else. So gambling, top 25, Big 12, BYU, everything else in college football really, really affects a school like BYU, because BYU has to every day get up and try to be 100%. And that's not always the way it is for everybody else. And so I try to look out for the everybody else. I try to look out for the Sac States of the world, or the Memphises, or the USFs, or for hell's sakes, Oregon State, Washington State. That's who the college football playoff should be for. And a 2014 playoff, in my opinion, is where it's at. You had first round buys for the top 8. Everybody plays home games, rounds 1 and 2. Use the bowl system. Doesn't really matter to me. Who cares if game, 16 is the who's he what's his bowl? Nobody matter. It doesn't matter. So I don't get upset about the bowls, like sometimes Ute does. So yeah, we'll talk about that. I don't know. I'm looking at my bookmarks. What else? It has not been an uncrazy week. And I'm sorry I wasn't here last Tuesday. I was traveling. Moen did a great job with some shows, and I really, really appreciate that. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at all my bookmarks, and there are so many other things. Did everybody see this is cool? And I think I can show this because, well, I don't know. If you guys lose the stream, blame Tennessee. Okay? Let me get to this. This is one of the best I've ever seen in my life. Okay. I might get dinged for this. So let me check here. We got a super chat. I did set a goal. I've never done that before. I set a goal for 5 super chats, $5 or more. And I don't know why you'd want to see it, but I'll sing the BYU fight song. I don't even know all the words, but I will clap and go rah, 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 if we reach 5 of those super chats. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, shoot. Share this tab instead. And let me see if I can do this. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Sorry, technical difficulties. Moen, why don't I have the one to take over? Do I just do this? Hang on. No, that's not it. I honestly don't know. Okay, we'll do it this way. And I know the audio's on because I tested that. Okay. So first of all, before we lose the stream, let me give Ryan Willie $5 super chat. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate you around here on Wisconsin. Let's go. Super OG member, gangster member of the College Football Mafia family. $5 super chat says, guess I'm a hated evil badger for ripping Tim Brando on 365 Sports today. Wow. We'll have to dive into that. Why would you rip Tim Brando's like, I love Tim Brando. Ryan? What did Tim do to upset you? Did he say something about the Big Ten or Wisconsin? I guess that's the only thing I can think of. So let's talk about that. Hope maybe you guys can clue me in. I honestly, tell me what you did, Ryan. I don't know what anybody could have done to to Tim Brando. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to play this, and I think, like I said, I think the audio's on. All right. So if I get dinged, we will. I don't know. Should I play it last? Maybe I'll do it at the end of the show. That's the ultimate tease, isn't it? Sorry about that. All right, we're gonna. Yeah, we're not gonna do that now because I'm afraid we will get dinged, and I don't want to get dinged, so I'll put it back on phone calls. I know I'm the ultimate tease. I'm sorry. Let me do some quick shout outs really quick as I go back here and then do this. And I go here, and I go here, and I go here. All right. I don't know how to do this. Very good. Okay. Shout outs. Big Lubbock's first in the house. Big game this weekend. Texas Tech's got to hold up their end of the deal. They lost their backup quarterback last weekend, which sucks because Hammond, I think, was playing better. But he's out. Was it MCL, ACL? Anyway, he's done for the year. So now Texas Tech has to win with their original starting QB, heaven forbid. So we'll have to see. I believe it's Kansas State, if I have that right. So Texas Tech, you got to uphold your deal. Can't look past because we need you to be 8-1 when BYU comes to town next week. Okay, Daniel Gygax checking in saying hi everyone. Contributor extraordinaire around here. Appreciate you, Daniel. Thanks for being here today. Says hi everyone. Really quick, he says, let's give a shout out to the official team of the College Football Mafia, the 9-0 Tarleton State Texans. Okay, they're 9-0, baby. Daniel needs to do like a short, just if you're watching, Daniel, just tell everybody a little bit about Tarleton State, because except for you and the name and the cigarettes, I don't know much about them. So you'll have to tell us why they're 9-0. I'd love to hear that. Let's see here. Ryan earlier said hi, College Football Mafia, the evil Badgers here. Stephen Vitt, it's been a minute. Good to see you, Stephen. Ohio Bobcats in the house says hi, Bomber. Stopping by for tonight. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Marcus Williams, another member of the College Football Mafia family, saying go blue. I'm assuming that's Michigan. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus, but I believe go blue is for Michigan. And thank you for being a member of College Football Mafia family. Devil Frog, OG knows what I know. Valuable member of the College Football Mafia, saying, I hope the College Football Mafia family in Mississippi are marked safe from the zombie outbreak monkeys that escaped when their transport truck crashed. Wow. I don't even know what that means, but okay, we don't want monkeys escaping. Monkeys bite, so avoid them. What is that? I don't even know what that means. Chris G, it's good to see you, Chris G. Appreciate you being here tonight, Sub Bomber. Did I see BYU is 10 in the CFP poll? Yes, they are. I believe. I don't know. Let me look really quick. Let's check out the AP poll, which I looked up. And I can share this tab. And we will go like this. So let's see here. Might as well go through it. This is the top 25: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. A lot of people are putting Indiana number 1. That's crazy talk. That tells you right there what is everything right with college football, and some people might say what's everything wrong. All I know is Kurt Signetti knows how to coach, and this is 2 years in a row. It ain't no fad what Indiana's doing. Texas A&M, now that one you never know. I don't know. Go Aggies, I guess. They did get a first place vote. Alabama, who lost to Florida State the first weekend, and everybody's forgotten that. Georgia, Oregon looking, I don't know. Ole Miss, Georgia Tech. Okay, so here's a bone to pick. Georgia Tech has actually played a worse schedule and has a worse peer-to-peer thing as BYU, and yet they're, 3 spaces above BYU? Why is that at? I mean, if you're a fan of Georgia Tech, good for you. But there's not a lot of reason there. No rhyme, certainly. That's, in my opinion, what's all wrong with college football. Anyway, Vanderbilt, who continues to win. Miami, Florida, who, again, I thought Miami was number one. I still don't understand how they give away a gamer here or there. Rock, what is going on with your team? You guys were supposed to dominate this year. I had you 12-0, man. Let's see. BYU and Miami are tied. That's ironic on many levels. Notre Dame, who has 2 losses, should not be anywhere close to the top of the tier, top of the top 25. Can you say that? And if you're a Notre Dame fan, and I don't know if I've got a lot of Notre Dame fans, but if you're a Notre Dame fan, I want you to justify to the world why you guys should be, 12 at 5-2. Clemson, bad. Clemson is not good this year. When I say bad, in relative terms. Don't get me going on Notre Dame. Texas Tech, again, got to take care of business this weekend at Kansas State. There we go, at Kansas State. Texas Tech, lose your quarterback. You got to win. Baron Morton, that's who it is, your starting quarterback, who had gotten hurt and now is back. But your defense is really what's got to carry the day. Defense has bailed out BYU many times. Actually, how do I put this? BYU's defense has actually made mistakes. Iowa State defense, oof. Couple plays in there. It's like, man, what is going on here? And put your hand up if you like Bear Bachmeier. Guy is nails. Tennessee, Virginia, climbing. I don't know what to make with Virginia. Virginia and, how about take this? Virginia and Indiana. Let's talk about that. That should be a whole show. Basketball powers becoming football powers? Did anybody see Virginia coming? I didn't. Anybody says they did that isn't a diehard booster for Virginia's Lion. Nobody saw that, and nobody saw Virginia. I don't care who you are. Louisville, who, gosh, I had them. They just got off to a slow start, I guess. Beating Miami's a big deal. They deserve to be in the top 25, certainly. I'm not sure where to put them. They just got off to a slow start. They should wall up Virginia Tech. Now we get into where people start to argue. I think Cincinnati is a good football team. A good football team. Utah, at Utah, will test them. The posers will sit down, and the bettors will stand up and take a step forward. I'm telling you right now, Utah is very good. Has been very good all year. All I ever said from the beginning in the preseason is that you got a quarterback that's a one-trick pony. And last week, that quarterback sat out, and you scored 43 points in the first half last week. I'm all for, giving props and kudos to your starting players. But you have a quarterback that comes in and absolutely goes lights out. How can you sit that guy down? Don't you go with the hot hand? I would say, and I will say this Friday to you, this is what's been wrong with the Utah program for the last 3 years. They cannot make a decision. Everything Kyle has done, he's second-guessed himself. Devin Dampier is not a 3-tool quarterback. He can't do it. He cannot stretch the field. And I'm not saying, sorry, somebody remind me what his name is. The backup quarterback at Utah last week. I said before that game last week, and it's time stamped, and I put it on Twitter. There's a good chance that if this guy goes out, what is it? Bird Ficklin. That's right. I'm gonna type that so people that don't have closed caption up, it's Bird Ficklin. There we go. Everybody can see how to spell that. Bird Ficklin came out and was elite last week. Now, he wasn't asked to pass down the field very often, but when he did, he completed passes. He's taller. He's not as quick, I don't think, like twitchy quick as Devin Dampier, but I think he's better. And I just think Devin he's a good quarterback. He's not. People are going to freak out in Salt Lake City, but I'm going to say this. Devin Dampier is Jake Retzlaff. In so many ways, like in thousands of ways. And Utah fans aren't going to like the comparison, but that is the difference in the talent level. And oh, by the way, Bird Ficklin is a true freshman. And oh, by the way, at the beginning of the year, I said you're going to start seeing more true freshmen starting their freshman year than ever going forward, because teams don't have time. And why don't they have time? Because schools like LSU fire their head coach after what, 3 or 4 years? That's nonsense. That never would have happened 15, 20 years ago. $60 million buyouts or whatever, that never would have happened back in the day. So, yeah. Let's see here. We'll continue to look down. So we'll find out Cincinnati at Utah. It's a big game. Oklahoma, come on, Oklahoma. Jason, what is going on? Anyway, Oklahoma lost to Ole Miss last week. By the way, did I skip Ole Miss? I apologize. Ole Miss was 7. Oh, sorry. I looked past Ole Miss. I don't know. They need to keep winning. Missouri, Texas. And this is where you get if you're good and you're good already and good beats good, it isn't a net loss. Somehow if you lose to a good team, you go up. How does that work? I don't know. Some kind of weird math. I don't know. Texas, Michigan. Now you get to Houston. Houston beat ASU last week in Arizona. Arizona didn't lay over for them. They gave them, 24 points and came back and almost tied it up near the end of the game. USC, I don't know. Utah again, and I've already talked about Utah. And then Memphis. Memphis right now, Memphis and USF leading the G6 representation for the college football playoff. Okay. So let me go back here, and I will go back here, and I will go back here. Okay. So let's continue to do shout outs. Thanks for bringing up top 25. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Caden the Diesel Freak. Nathan, how's it going? Good to see you, Caden. Ohio State keeps winning, man. Keep it going. Let's see here. See. Okay, here we go. Daniel Dilly. Good to see you, Dan. It's been a minute. It's good to see you, though. Daniel Dilly, a longtime member of the College Football Mafia family, says Washington should be ranked. If they were SEC team, they would be in the top 10. Yeah, don't get me started about Washington. I'm glad you brought it up. There are so many teams that should be in the top 25 that aren't. And again, polls, give me a break. I think Washington is they're as good as any team in the top 15. Obviously, I'm biased for Washington. Anyway, College Football Express. Good to see you, Rock. I appreciate you being here tonight. Friends of the show, College Football Express. That would be Rock and Rand and Miami Flow. Good to see you guys. Bird Ficklin sounds like a fake baseball player name from Major League. Hey, it is. It is. Okay. Rock, what about this? Or actually, this could be Rock or my Flow. Bird Flick. I mean, this is too stupid to be real, and yet it's real. Bird Ficklin, Bear Bachmeyer. Yeah, that's where we've come in college football. That's just it is too close. It just it's too close for numbers. Anyway, Dave's here. Y'all got the animal names on lockdown in Utah. There we go. It's facts. There's actually absolutely facts. And then Dave's here also said, good to see you, Dave, by the way. Isn't Navy in second for the group of 5? Yeah, Navy just needs to keep winning. Navy just needs to keep winning. Keep winning, you will be fine. I know it sucks. It's a zero sum. You have zero net to fall into if you happen to lose, have a bad game. It's just, you're not the only ones. That's all I can say, Navy. But yeah, I mean, obviously Navy's good. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I think of all of them, Memphis and if I had druthers, and I've seen Tulane, I've seen Memphis, I've seen USF. I've only seen bits at the highlights of Navy. Does Navy have a quarterback that can stretch the field? It's pretty tough when you're a service academy and you can't go out and buy players for millions of dollars. For Navy to be even competitive is an amazing task or amazing result. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, I love Navy. Who doesn't love the service academies? I think this is rock. Hats for bats. That's a fact. And Dave here says Notre Dame is going to beat them. I both hate and am jealous of Notre Dame. So let's not. I wasn't talking about any of that though. I'm just talking about just looking at everybody's resumes. A loss to Clemson should not be a promotion point. That's all I'm saying. A loss to Miami and Clemson should not mean you're better. I mean, in what world does that work? Where you lose? Oh, well, we know it happens because Boise did it last year. Although they won the G6 spot, which is fine. But a loss to Oregon was a promotion tool. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Really is. It does nothing but piss me off, and that's where I started my rant at the beginning of the show. Anyway, that's through all the comments that I've got tonight. I mean, I'll dive into any of those you want me to. I'm happy to. Just leave your comment. I will just say again, I've set a super chat goal of 5 of the teal super chats. I think that's $5. And I will sing the BYU fight song if you want to hear that. If you don't, then don't pay me $5 to do it. But 5 of those, and I'll look up the words and I'll sing that song. All right, let's get to news. Okay. So we talked about the top 25, and I talked a little bit about this, but let me share this tab. This is where Captain Kirk sitting in the side chair is difficult, and if you've never done this YouTube stuff, you have no idea what the pain is like. Let me see. Can I do this without freaking the world out? Yes. Okay, Amanda Kristovich, and she was not the only one to report this. I actually saw the NCAA news posting, but I'm not real fan of the NCAA, so I'm not going to share that direct. But here it is, Amanda Kristovich. And just to summarize what we got here, Division I board did discuss the Greg Sankey letter. Greg Sankey said shouldn't be able to do betting. No betting, boo. Betting's bad. Asking for the pro sports betting rule to be rescinded, but it wasn't the driving factor, and this rule is controversial even before the NBA sports betting scandal. So everybody knows what happened. Has that been 2 weeks now? I don't know, a week ago. NBA sports betting, Chauncey Billups et al., gambling, mafia, real mafia, not around here. Not us, but I mean like La Cosa Nostra. And that broke, and the NBA Adam Silver just sort of, I don't know. Look at him. Don't look at me. Look at me. And then the timing for this, and I might as well share it. Let's just read this. NCAA news. The Division I board voted to delay the effective date of the sports betting legislative change to November 22nd, which is one day after the close of a membership rescission period. And I'll tell you what that is in just a second. Division I rules afford 30 days for each Division I school to vote to rescind a proposal if it is adopted by less than 75% majority of the Division I cabinet. That is a bunch of word salad to say we want to redo. And it comes, crazily enough, after Greg Sankey comes out and says, nope, I don't want sports betting. I don't want this. It's like this. Where did this come from? I didn't vote for this. I don't know if he did or not. But Greg Sankey says something, all of a sudden they can rescind their vote. When was the last time you guys were able to rescind your vote? Unless you're part of some corporate board, or I sat there when I saw that, and this only posted at 4:12 my time, so that is almost 2.5 hours ago. This original report came out. In what form of your life have you ever been able to vote and then unvote? Maybe in a family council or something? I apologize. Give me a second. I got to open up my window. Yes, this is live television, everybody. But I'm hot. I'm going to give you, one of these days I'm going to take a camera around and show you the rest of my office. No, I'm not, because it's really messy. All right, there we go. Now the world can hear me talking. This is where you got to be careful what you share with the world. All right. So you vote, and then you get to unvote. Has anyone, raise your hand if you've been able to vote and then unvote? Again, that's not normal, right? This is not what a normal world. This is not what normal is not. It's just not. I don't even know what to say about that. So anyway, whatever. College sports now can just sort of, not only can they make their own rules because there's no checks and balances, but now they can make the rules and then unmake the rules and then make them again. All right. So that's another rant, another news item. And these happen now every single week. Stuff like this happens. Again, I will look back 12, 15 years ago, college football was not in the news every single day. Now we wanted it to be, right? The Greg Flugars, me, Moen, old people. Devil Frog, you guys know who I'm talking about. All you guys, this is not what college was not in your. I mean, it's like every day now you're getting these headlines, and you could argue it's good, high profile, but I would argue it's not so good. There is such thing as bad is just bad, in my opinion. So now you have sports gambling in college. What else? Oh, and I'm not going to bring up the link because I forgot to key it up, but let's talk about coaches' salaries. Again, raise your hand. Who thinks coaches' salaries should be legislated? Don't you think it should be up to each individual, let's even say state, whether they want to legislate their coach's salary or not? Who in the world thinks it's okay for Congress to legislate whether Kyle Whittingham could make $20 million if the state of Utah wanted to pay him? I wouldn't be happy about it, and it would never happen. Not with the voting blocks that are in the state of Utah, but that's up to the state, isn't it? Any kind of federal legislation that caps anything is scary, everybody. Absolutely scary. Why should Washington D.C. should be able to dictate what happens in, El Paso, Texas? That should be up to that should be up to the state of Texas if it's a state school or state educational body. Why is it okay? Why is it okay for the federal government to legislate coaching salaries, percentage of this or that or the other? Makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. If a state wants to legislate it, fine. It's a state school, legislate it. That's up to you. You go, girl. But if it's a freaking federal rule, you know who wins? All the private schools. State schools, Kyle Whittingham be making roughly $300,000 a year. And Kalani's making more than that at BYU and at Notre Dame and at Miami and at Stanford. And the goes down the line. So bad idea. So if you saw that on Twitter and you hear about it, it's just a bad idea. Nobody should be for that. What else? Trying to think of all the things that I saw. And this is just in the news in the last few days. That's what's funny. It's not like this stuff I had to search high and low trying to find stories. I mean, these things are ridiculous. 2014 playoff. Let's quickly go to that. I think I pulled that up. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is from Fox. And again, let me see, make sure I'm driving this right here. There we go. All right, everybody tune in and now. Okay. So if you're using the current top 25, and this includes the G6 entry parentheses in the 2014 playoff, depending on the structure, this is what the current bracket would be. Okay? And I hope you can see it. Well, I know you can because I can read it from here and I'm not very good. So the top 8, the only one I have questions with is, I went through it. Who was it? Let's see. Oregon has 1 loss. Sorry, there's more than one. Vanderbilt has 1 loss. Ole Miss has a loss. And Georgia has a loss. Should all those teams be in the top 8? I don't know. I don't know. We need to sort out the details on how we get there. But fine. Just assume those are the top 8. After that, every one of these games that's in the first round, who wouldn't want to see these? And argue with a wall if you think expanding the playoff is dumb. If you think expanding the playoff is dumb, I'm not sure why you're watching me, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's free world, but Texas Tech, Texas. Who wouldn't watch that? At Texas. Sorry. Yeah, at Texas. Pitt at Tennessee. And by the way, check these off in your head. Which one of these would be blowouts, which is what everybody's going to bitch and moan about, and which one of these are going to be appointment television? Well, Texas Tech, Texas is good. That's appointment television. Pitt, Tennessee, you probably argue probably not. Cincinnati, Miami. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know Cincinnati's fandom enough to know. I think Miami would be heavily favored in that game, but anyway. Houston and Louisville. That would be a good game. Memphis and Missouri. I would watch that game just to see if Missouri loses. Navy, BYU, of course. I love that because BYU's playing at home, which would be incredible. First round game. Michigan, Notre Dame. For those youngins around here, Michigan, Notre Dame used to be appointment television. It seemed like every year they played when the rules were different. Now Michigan, really outside of a TV matchup here, has no incentive to play Notre Dame. They need to keep their wins in the win column. They don't need losses. Playing Notre Dame is a risk. Playing Purdue? Not so risky. And then Virginia and Georgia Tech, again, you're going to get millions of people to watch that, if for no other reason than you have two basketball powers playing football. And Georgia Tech is basketball power. So I love this. And how can you be a true college football fan and not love this 24-team playoff? Don't we want more college football? Who wants to watch the Blue Jerry Bowl on December 17th? Who wants to watch that? Nobody. They'll get people just because nothing else is on and it's football. But a playoff game? I mean, forget about it. And by the way, this, you notice, this is Fox. You see at the very top there, and I'm pointing with my cursor. You can't see it. At the very top, it's Fox College Football, as Greg Flugar pointed out in a tweet tonight. RJ Young representing Fox, basically saying, we want a piece of the CFP next time this comes around. And I'm talking about like a full stake, not a sublet, none of this other stuff. Fox wants to be a player. Now, I don't know why they didn't fight for it. I don't know. I thought they were going to fight for it last time, but I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. So 2014 playoff, I think, is absolutely awesome. And I believe, if I remember right, there are 23 games. 23 games total. That's 46 teams. No. How do I do that? 40? No, because you repeat the same game over and over again. 23 games to win a national championship, the full bracket. You have to get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of a playoff. Don't give me this crap. We don't want college football to be like the NFL. It already is. Anybody who think, I'm sorry. I know. This entire show is going to be one long bomber rant. I'm telling you right now, if you're a football purist of any kind, college football is already the NFL. The only difference is the NFL, you actually get a true winner because there is a true playoff. College football doesn't have that. College football, it's a machine to make money and for exclusivity. They don't want, in fact, they go against having a top. They want the best brands to win. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want Alabama to win? Now, they're not going to, obviously, when I say want, I mean, that's what drives numbers. Viewership drives all those requirements. But that's what people want to see. And yet, people watch the basketball tournament because you have teams that could come in and win some games. Football is not basketball, and I'm not saying they're straight across the same. But I'm just trying to get across the point that the deeper you go into playoff, the more people you engage, the more money you make. And Fox wants part of that. And that's why this is a bracket put out by either Yahoo Sports or Barstool. 2014, but you're not seeing it anywhere on ESPN. If you have, please send me the link. I'd love to see and discuss it. I would love to know kind of what ESPN's thinking about it. I haven't seen anything. So I guess I say that it's possible there is. I've just not seen it. I'm willing to admit that. All right. So the playoff, gambling. There's a new Big 12 logo. Love it or hate it. Let's see if I can. What do you guys think about this Big 12 logo? Actually, can I do it here? No, I'm saving that. I'm saving that. Let's see. What the heck is going on here? Where are we here? Let me go to bookmarks. Let me scroll down again. You guys tell me what you think of it. I like it, but I also haven't been in the Big 12 for 15 years, so I don't know if you should like it or not. Let's see. Share this. And then bring this up again. What do you guys think of that logo? You like it? Don't like it? I like it. It's a combination of regular numbers and Roman numerals, which I really like. But there's a lot of Big 12 purists that are complaining about it. I don't get wrapped up about the logo itself. I think the Big 12 is not going anywhere from a name brand perspective. And I think you can lean into that from an advertising. I think it looks good. It's clean. All right, that might be it that I want to touch. It's been 51 minutes. As far as rants go, that's one of my longer ones. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. There's a new, I don't know, what should we call this? Is that still sharing? Here's another one for you guys you guys tell me if you like this. Remember last year, everybody was complaining about who got in the playoff and who didn't? And everybody does because it was just like 5 minutes ago. This is a post from Chris Vanini. I've got that BYU video on replay, but I can't play it because it's got LL Cool J in it. This is Chris Vanini. Give him credit. Some college football playoff selection adjustments. So Alabama complained, Ole Miss complained, South Carolina complained last year because they're the SEC and they're the SEC and we play each other, and so we're stronger because we play each other, and you can't knock us down for playing each other, and we don't want to play 9 conference games, blah, 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 blah. So they changed the wording of the college football playoff selection. And this is Chris Vanini basically summarizing it. Taking into consideration now officially the new strength of schedule metric. And if you can't see through this, and every one of these put SEC in brackets right behind it, you're blind. Strength of record metric. Those are, I mean, come on. Reaffirm that teams who don't play in conference title games can move in rankings if evidence-based. And that's in quotes. Well, it's in quotes from the comment. Can anybody even tell me what that means? What does that sentence even mean? And then some partial recusals for members. And I would say, i.e. last year, Michigan. I mean, I don't even know how you do this. How about you get, I don't know. How about this? No active members of a university can be on the committee. How about that? Or how about you do away with the committee and we just go to a czar, and he just picks people out of a hat to go to a playoff? Why not? But it's this one. This reaffirm, meaning we're saying it again, that teams who don't play in conference title games can move in rankings if evidence-based. Who is the only school that could be talking about? The only school that can be talking about. Well, I would say it's the one school that doesn't have a conference championship to be in, but you could also say it's, again, Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, who didn't play in the conference championship game and they didn't put in immediately. Or let's say it this way. How about both Clemson and SMU making it last year, and SMU didn't even make it? I mean, what are we doing here? So I just would pull back and just say that's another reason I think we do not want, but why we do want a 2014 playoff, because then you eventually, I mean, anybody gets into a playoff at that point. And then you whatever, throw the dominoes on the ground, everything's either up or down, whatever. But as long as you have a 12-team playoff, this makes This is just more shifting the deck chairs around on the Titanic. Strength of schedule, strength of record, reaffirm, evidence-based. I mean, this is all legalese for we'll just make it up as we go, because that's what they can do, because the CFP at the end of the day is an invitational. Okay, let's see here. How many super chats? Let's see here. To Town Hawk came loaded tonight. Turn on the phones. Rant is coming. Okay, to Town Hawk, I'll turn it on. Sorry, I had to get this all out, guys. This is like therapy for me. I swear to you. Ryan Willie, $5 super chat says, why should the billionaire decide how much each school conference should get? I'm not sure what you mean, Ryan. Are you talking to me? I'm a little confused. Who's the billionaire we're talking about? Are we talking, I mean, how much each school conference should get? I'm honestly, I'm sorry, Ryan. That obviously came in out of context. I'm getting it out of I don't know what you mean. Why should the billionaire decide how each school conference get? I'm sorry. If you'll, I'll try to pick it up. I'm watching the live feed right now, Ryan. I see you just posted like 90 seconds ago. Explain what you mean right there. Or for that matter, why don't you, let's see here. You could call me in. Okay. And I want to recognize that you just said, I'm just seeing this. Let's see. I want to make sure. Ryan just said, are you going to read super chats? And I'm sorry, Ryan. I just came full of spit and vinegar tonight. So Ryan, you'll be able to call in. You always can. And I want to hear from you. You can explain it. Oh, he's talking about Cody Campbell. What is Cody Campbell doing that is bad? I think this is a rant about one school being able to go forward. But if you're going to say that with money and whatnot, you can say the same thing about multiple schools. It's not just Texas Tech. For that matter, it's not any particular school, Ryan. Look, if your state, if you want to win, you'll invest the money to win. Ultra capitalistic. I don't think everything is even. Never has been. Never has been. Minnesota and Wisconsin and Purdue all have the same opportunity to move forward. You just, man, you got to find the resources. I don't know why everybody's. I mean, what's Cody done in the last 3 weeks that I've missed? I mean, is that his commercials running? That's about it. Is it even running? Actually, I haven't seen it in a minute. I don't understand the Cody Campbell hate. Still, I understood it at the time. I still don't get it. He's not driving anybody anywhere. They largely poo-pooed him. And Texas Tech has a loss. So I like this. Stephen Pitts, good to see you, Stephen. Bomber, do you honestly believe that the Big and the SEC play the same strength of schedules? I think they are closer now than they've ever been, Stephen, if you're asking me personally. Than they've ever been. Maybe since the 80s. Certainly 70s, 80s, and 90s, everybody could win then. And you had schools popping up left and right that were competing for national championship. West Virginia, Georgia Tech, Colorado. I mean, the list. And then it disappeared for 25 years, and now I think it's back. Except for now, it's back because you're going to have schools. Well, first you're going to have commitment for the schools, and then the schools have to find the right leadership. And you know how you know that is because some of the biggest brands in all of college football has fired their coaches this year for not winning, not a playoff game now. James Franklin won a playoff game last year. Penn State fired their coach because he lost 3 games in a row and was losing people's attention. How do you blame that on the SEC if you're a Big Ten fan? Or if you're an ACC fan, how do you blame? I mean, at the end of the day, we all represent ourselves. The system's what broken. Don't blame the schools for exploiting it. If you were Lane Kiffin, you have every incentive to complain every day and promote your school. That's your job. Is it Lane Kiffin? Is Lane Kiffin the bad guy, or is it the system that enables Lane Kiffin? I'm asking. I mean, I'm genuinely asking that question, Stephen. Which do you, chicken or the egg? In my opinion, it's the chicken. I blame the system because the schools will chameleon to fit the system. Whatever system you build, everything will adapt to it. The system doesn't change for one brand. Unless you're Greg Sankey. Oh, anyway. Okay, let's see. Yes, you will be able to do that, Ryan. And is my rant done? I'm just going through comments. I mean, there's honestly here it is, Ryan. No, I wasn't ignoring your super chat. I was just finishing my rant. Close the circle. I mean, you guys, the smartest people watching on any social media is here. Big 12 flag waving in the background at big noon equals your mark. Texas Tech, I'm not sure what you're referring to town. What did Kansas do, or what happened to the Big 12? I mean, yeah, that's out of context too. So I'm going to give to Town Hawk time to call in. I'm going to give Ryan Willie time to call in. And then you guys will have a couple minutes to explain yourselves, whatever you want to say. I'll listen to you. But it looks to me like I've riled you up, and that's kind of my job, to get everybody going. Moen and I rant differently, Daniel. Nathan, you need lessons from Moen on how to do a good rant? I don't think so. I'm not poking fun at Moen, but I was doing this first. Moen had his own channel like 10 years ago, so I don't know if he did. Moen, did you do first person stuff? That I'm not sure, but I think he did. Yeah, he would get on and explain like his vampire television and Moen Vision. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. If you guys remind us on Friday, we'll talk about it. Okay. So far, I am 2 chats into 5 super chats of me singing the BYU fight song, and I don't think anybody's going to want to hear that. So, and Daniel, yeah, I know. I'm kidding. I'm just trying. It's a go at Moen. I was just teasing. Okay, here we go. Now I've been gone for 2 weeks. So if the phones don't work, yell at Xfinity. I don't want to hear it. I will know because it won't pop up anymore. And then we'll have to do something else. I'll have to read more stories and do other things. But I will turn on the phones now so you guys have your chance to yell at me, tell me how wrong I am about the college football playoff, or frankly anything else. You know, one thing I didn't do, as I'm teeing everybody up, that BYU Iowa State game. BYU took a step. Down 14. The first play of the game, 75-yard touchdown. That's where my frustration with defense. I don't know what the hell Satwala was doing back there, but he made up for it with an interception, return for a touchdown, pick 6, basically to end the game. BYU's for real, people. Love them, hate them. They're not going away. Kalani Stocky ain't raising no punks. We might lose to Texas Tech, but it's not because. All right, here we go. I'm going to open on the phones. Hopefully they work. Okay, phone lines are open. You can call in now. You guys let me know if I need to dump somebody. If I don't recognize anybody's numbers anyway. 801-899-6203. Call in right now and let's talk. I want to hear you. I want you to rant, and come and tell me why I am so wrong. I would love to hear from you. And
Call from
Evil Badger, and then you guys know in the comments. Let me know if you can't hear him. Okay, how we doing, Ryan?
I'm doing okay. A couple things about about what you said in your rant and why I brought up Cody Campbell.
Okay.
You said in your rant that you don't believe that the government should tell schools how to spend their money. And
no, specifically what I said, the federal government shouldn't be dictating coaches' salaries. That's what I said.
Okay, coaches' salaries, but Cody Campbell wants the conferences to pull everything together and basically share all of that money, and it's basically the same thing.
No, they're really well, to me, and I can only speak for myself, Ryan. They're completely two different things. What Cody is advocating is the federal government changed a piece of legislation from 1962 that would allow the conferences to pool their media rights to create something worth a lot more. That's not the same as the federal government telling Minnesota they can only pay their coach $5 an hour. They're like two different things.
But how can he guarantee it's going to be worth more? If you pull everything together, you're basically starting a socialistic government, basically, that way.
Well, again, what Cody specifically said, and I'm not in Cody's head, and I've continued to trade messages with him. I'm trying to get him on the show so he can speak for himself. But he said he did a private. He had a team that did a private analysis, and their opinion was that college football altogether is worth more than each one of them is separately. And I believe that as well. I think that's true. I think it would be right behind Premier League soccer, the NFL, and then college football in all of sports markets in the world.
Well, I believe
it's an estimate. I mean, it's an estimate, Ryan. That's what I mean.
Personally, I believe that each conference should get the best deal for the conference as they can, and not have the smaller conferences, like the G5 conferences, get the same as the Power 4.
Oh, I don't believe that either. I agree with you. I think there's no reason it couldn't be tiered. There's all kinds of things you could build into it because those brands are absolutely not the same thing. But if Minnesota or Wisconsin or Purdue can still make the same amount or even more, 10%, and all they have to do is just say all their media rights go to a larger corporation, why do you care? You get more money. Why do you care who else gets paid whatever?
I just believe that each conference should make their own deal and not pull everything together.
Okay.
It's not the American way.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. Wait, let me ask you this. Was the NFL and the AFL worth more individually than the NFL was worth together?
Well, the NFL was afraid that the EFL was going to become bigger than the NFL, so that's why they merged.
They did, but again, do they make much more money together or than they were separately?
Well, when they merged, it was in 1970,
Right.
And the money back then is nowhere near where the money is now.
Well, I'm not talking about how much money they're making this second. What I'm saying is, were they worth more together or separate? That's all I'm asking.
That's comparing apples to oranges, and but changing the subject, and the
Sure.
reason why I went off on Tim Brando.
Okay. Yeah, tell me that. I want to hear that. Yes.
Last Saturday, he was one of the announcers for the Wisconsin-Oregon game.
Okay.
And in a pre-production meeting with Wisconsin, he was given notes about some former Wisconsin players that now work for ESPN Wisconsin, saying that that he calls them podcasters, saying that they don't know anything about what is going on at Wisconsin, and because one of the former Badger players said that he's talked to several high school coaches, saying that Fickle staff has never contacted them about any high school players. He's not interested in Wisconsin players.
Okay.
So Tim Brando is like saying that the former player who has a show on ESPN Wisconsin, so he basically doesn't know anything about the program, which I think he does more than Tim Brando does, because he's actually talked to coaches.
Right.
And he basically said the podcasters don't know anything about what's going on, while doing impressions of the Foghorn Leghorn from the Looney Tunes cartoons.
So what you're saying is he was being derogatory towards Wisconsin, is what you're saying?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. That's not cool. That doesn't sound like Tim Brando, by the way. So, yeah, that's not okay.
And I'm kind of upset because one of the mega donors is backing McIntosh and Fickle to keep their jobs for next year. And I'm like, it's only going to be more of a disaster.
Oh, wow. That's a surprise. So you have a mega donor, and we'll just assume it's a mega donor that is throwing their weight around saying they want Fickle to stick around.
Yes. And McIntosh.
And does that piss you off as a Wisconsin fan?
Yes. Well, right now there were more Ohio State fans at the last home game than there were the Badger fans.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not good.
Yeah. And they celebrated the 3 Rose Bowl teams of the 90s at that game.
I remember those Wisconsin teams. They were tough as nails. Where have those teams gone, Ryan?
Well, Fickle doesn't want to recruit in-state talent, so it's basically gone down the tubes.
Well, all I can say, and I appreciate you calling. Thank you for explaining yourself. And whenever I'm doing my rants and stuff, I'm not knocking anybody in particular. So I appreciate you asking. But I think Wisconsin is a fantastic brand that deserves better. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, that's all I had. Thanks for taking my call.
Always, Ryan. Thank you so much for all of your support.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
That is Ryan Willie, the Evil Badger, somebody I completely respect their opinion, and he's seen a lot of football. And yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see the Tim Brando reporting, so that's news to me. I must admit that does sound a little out of character. But I don't know. He's paid millions of dollars to do what he does, and I respect him. I don't know what else to say about that. But thank you, Ryan, for calling. OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Appreciate you. Call in right now, 801-899-6203. And somebody called and got voicemail. Call me back. Here we go. All right. I know who this is.
Call from
Tawtown Hawk. Buckle.
See, I recognize the prefix.
Well, it's the greatest place in the world, Nate. Come on.
Hey, look,
You
I
know
was
when
just
it's
in
coming
Kansas
from
City.
214, you know it's coming in hot.
I was just in Kansas City and very nice people.
Oh yeah, what's the prefix coming up as? 214 or 913?
Let's see. Not to tell everybody your phone number. It is.
Already gave it away.
Yeah. Well, actually, from my caller ID, it's neither one of those.
Oh well, all right.
That's good, right? That's a good
wrong.
thing.
Pure anonymity on
Yeah,
the
I'm not
show.
sure.
All right, I love that.
Yeah. All right. So, what's going on tonight?
A lot of things.
Okay.
I know I'll get to my junk in the back of my head. But I wanted to comment and piggyback off of Ryan Willie, his call, and a little bit about understanding why he's upset with two things, both with the coaching and with the way it's structured, possibly going forward. Cody Campbell, I understand, wanted to group it together, make it more like an NFL package bid out, and that way they maximize the revenue and split it up. And they chop it up fair and square between all 32 teams as far as the television revenue. Now, I can see what he's saying is, this new proposed league, do they have to give away some of the portion of the funds to G5 teams as part of a settlement for not being included? Maybe. And I can see that. But if that's $1 more than what they would have gotten on their own, then that's probably the prudent decision to make, as far as I can see. And
Okay.
you look at the difference in what those contracts bring as far as money. What is it? The NFL is like something like 10 billion a year.
Yeah, for some reason I had 11
versus,
in my head, but it's got to be, it's something close. Yep.
Yeah, so something like that versus 10-2, so it's probably 5 times as much. And right now they're split up, even though the SEC and the Big have their own separate mega deals. There are industry experts out there that feel there's more money left on the table. The reason they're out there is because they've done some of these deals or been involved, and they probably have a better idea what revenues will bring in from ads of doing something like that, and how much more they'd be able to pony up as far as separating it out between networks and piecemealing it.
Right.
So that's that part. The other part kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about, but I haven't really said this out loud, but I actually know somebody on the staff at Wisconsin.
Okay.
Hell of a guy, great guy, hell of a coach. I haven't, specifically haven't talked to him, about how it's going, especially when it's not going well.
Yeah.
But as far as the capability of what he does and how he goes about his business, when I played, guys always on top of things, detail oriented, nice, personable. So, I mean, just an all around great coach, what you want from somebody who can go from the technical aspect and also personable with personalities and as far as getting along and recruiting kids and likable. So I have to say the guys that he has working underneath him, at least the one I know, he's got some excellent people there. And if you've looked at some of Fickle's underlings. They've gone on to do good things. I mean, where else am I thinking about? Notre Dame. I think he was on Fickle's staff, and there's somebody else. I think Clark Lee, possibly at Vanderbilt, was as well under Fickle at Cincinnati.
Okay.
So doing what he did, it reminds me a lot of what Burt did at Arkansas, trying to go in and more or less go against right.
Yeah.
Trying to go in and go against the grain.
He wanted to do it his way.
Right.
He wanted everybody to know Arkansas was built by Burt Bielema.
Yeah. If you look at what he's doing at Illinois now, I don't think he's doing anything different than what he was trying to do at Arkansas, to tell you the truth. I mean, that's his brand of football and the way he coaches. The pluses
and the minuses.
The problem with that is you have to have people on board and bought in to your vision, and not necessarily for 1 to 2 years. I mean, you're talking about 3, 4, 5 years. Now, yes. I don't know all the things that people are saying about Coach Fickle, because I'm not on the Wisconsin boards, and I don't go into the insider bit like that. The guy I know, I'm not going to talk to him about his boss. That's just not, especially when he's having a tough year. I'm not going to try and do anything to give somebody more stress on what they're already under. But I do understand that, these things anymore, you're not given time. And the thing is, I look at the guys that have been canned already this year, and look at how long they've been coaches. How long have they been there? It's not like they're all novices, right? These are all people that have 20, 30 years of experience in the field, doing what they're doing. And part of the issue is the way that the sport has changed and changed massively in a very short period of time. Over the NIL/portal period, where it's now more or less open bag man rather than what it used to be. And not only are you recruiting new players, but you're recruiting your own roster
every year. You have to
every year, and during the season, from what I understand.
Yes.
There's some guys that are the end of the year. Hey, I pulled a hamstring. And all of a sudden an NIL deal comes out, and hey, we're good to go for the playoffs, or we're not good to go for the playoffs.
Yes.
That I would expect to see that happen going forward. Now, all of that being said, I was very, 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 very mad and upset, extremely upset at the performance of my alma mater last weekend versus our in-state rivals. And I'm at the point where anger, because I know we could have performed at a much higher level than they did. They just more or less came out flat, and Jalen Daniels probably had his worst performance, I think, of his career. It just seemed to snowball on him. Once one thing went bad, it just kind of continued down the thing, down the line. But what I cannot understand and this is something that drives me nuts about my own fan base and my own fellow alumni. Some portion of our fan base believe that because they were born after 1988 and they've experienced nothing but phenomenal success in basketball, that anything that does not live up to an elite demonstration or exhibition or sporting event at that level, all of a sudden you're absolute trash and you're the worst and you don't deserve to be there and you're overpaid, and I'm entitled to see nothing but but the best performance because I'm a KU fan and I put on a KU shirt and all the magic happens. Well, that is a load of absolute horse shit. Unbelievably mad and upset at my fan base. People I've seen on the boards talking about, oh, we need to run him. He can go to Wisconsin, yada, yada, yada. Half of them, I'm sure, are K-State or Mizzou trolls that come
maybe.
in and just make two. And you know what? They can go stuff it in a pipe and smoke it. But they just drive me absolutely nuts and bonkers because I am a football first guy. I've always been a Kansas football guy.
Yeah.
I've played the sport. I love the sport. I've played for phenomenal coaches that have built me up after breaking me down and making me better and pushing me to be the best I could possibly be. And I played for guys that didn't know their from their elbow. You know what I mean?
I do.
And you would know within 10 minutes of seeing the first product on the field every season, you'd know whether that coach had it together or didn't. Absolutely. From an organizational point of view, from, hey, your guys are coming up, they're going through drills perfectly. Hey, they are showing up. They're not jumping off sides. They're not making mental mistakes. They're showing up. They're playing hard. They look, maybe they're a step slow or maybe they're small, those things that are physical attributes that you can't change immediately or over the course of a couple of years with both conditioning or in the weight room or recruiting better physical specimens or more players with a higher ceiling. Now,
so let me. You could probably go for 20 minutes, Tatiana Hawk. I do have a little bit of
I know I'm monopolizing the time.
No.
I'm just so mad, man.
I want to tell you, you're being heard. And look, I'm old enough to remember when KU winning one football game was a big deal. So I think it's a joke that you have a fan base that's ready to run a coach that, I mean, your coach recruited Jalen Daniels in the first place.
No,
right?
No, he's actually, it was Brent Dearman. He was the interim OC under Miles after, his cousin was the DC at West Virginia. I can't recall the guy's name, but Daniel might remember.
But
had
he kept
a
him?
funny last name.
You've already said he's been re-recruited at least 2 years. He would have left if he didn't like your coaching staff.
Here's what happened. In 2020, he came in. He was 17 years old, and Les Miles started him. He showed up on August 2nd. He was a late enrollee who's a blue shirt, and they had him starting at Baylor, I think, week 4. And Baylor, within the first 13 minutes, I think they had 2 targeting calls where they absolutely tried to, put the kid in the hospital. His first game, it was something atrocious. But he was thrown to the wolves the very first year, and then Les Miles got canned in the spring, and then coach came in and with the idea that he would redshirt and that he would teach him properly, get him in the system, allow him growth. And it just turned out, he came along a little bit faster than possible. And through injury, he wound up playing in the Texas game, and he played so phenomenal that Coach Leipold more or less saw he was going to be the guy of the future. And that typically doesn't happen with a redshirt freshman, that you inherited.
Do you want to keep your coach, or do you want him gone?
No. I absolutely, under no circumstance do I want him gone. Does he play more conservative than most people? Yes, and I can see that because he's got his program organized in such a way that he hasn't had to take great risks because most of the time, I think at other levels, he's developed guys into a better roster than who he played against. And talent, more or less, was what won him a lot of those games. Now, Andy Kotelnicki and others helping with that offense, that probably helped out quite a bit. But under no circumstance do I want him going anywhere. I don't want him taking the Wisconsin job. I don't want him going anywhere else. I don't want him going to Nebraska if Rule leaves. But one thing I did hear, Lance Leipold gave an interview several years ago, and I don't know if his attitude has changed since then, but he did come up underneath Barry Alvarez and also off the Tom Osborne and his coordinator who got canned at Nebraska.
Solich?
Coached at Ohio. Yeah, Frank.
Okay.
He was on that staff that got canned, actually. I think as
Okay.
a recruiting coordinator. So he told me, he told in the interview that he had a conversation with Barry Alvarez about career goals and what he would want to do, and he asked him what advice he would give, and Alvarez told him, if you ever have your own shot at doing your own thing, go somewhere that does not belong to somebody else. You don't want to go to somebody else's program that you're always going to be compared against.
That's fair. That's fair.
And go and build it yourself, which I think is funny to me, and it's ironic in a way, because Wisconsin, to me, that's Barry Alvarez's program. That's what he built. That's where they, reached their peak and pinnacle of success.
So are your boosters going to pay him to stick around? Because, I mean, if Wisconsin, if I could say that, comes calling,
well,
if you were to put the two football brands against each other, not basketball now, but if you put the two football brands against each other, Wisconsin's a bigger brand.
Well, this is true.
So
one thing I also see is how many people in the Big Ten this year have been relieved of their duties already, and it's not even halfway through the season.
Yeah, it's that weight of expectations. But don't you want the weight? I guess that's what I'm echoing back to a KU football fan. What I'm saying is, would you rather have lower expectations and keep your coach, or higher expectations but run the risk of either losing him or not meeting those expectations? Because that's your choice. You can stay mediocre and keep your coach forever.
Well, think about this, Nate. If you're not from us making the decision of keeping the coach or not, but just say you're the coach, I'm the coach. What are you going to do if somebody comes to you and you're making $7 million a year and you've got it where you're at, you're in control, they're building you a new stadium.
Right.
They've given you pretty much anything that you've asked for so far, or you've got a job offer to go somewhere for $10 million or $11 million a year, but you are being hired by somebody you haven't worked with before. It probably is closer to where your parents grew up. I think that's kind of a wash, honestly, because I understand his wife's parents are just a couple hours away from Lawrence, so they're able to come to.
I don't. There is no. You and I can't answer that. Everybody's different.
Well,
right? Lane Kiffin,
but I know
Kiffin has a chance to chase mega dollars, or like Moen says, stay at Ole Miss and be the statue. I mean, we could talk about this forever. There's no way that can be resolved.
Well, I think Joey Freshwater is definitely a risk taker for sure.
Yeah,
he has that in his profile.
I would
anybody who's willing to do that is willing to take a risk.
We're gonna have to cut it there to Town Hawk, but I think at the end of the day, Kansas fans need to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, look, it could be worse." I don't
Oh,
know.
absolutely.
Expectations are different for every fan base. Everybody, there was a certain brand fans that have been down for a couple of years that were celebrating qualifying for a bowl. I think any fan base that's of any salt that's celebrating just to get bowl eligibility doesn't have the right perspective and the right. They're not looking to be the pinnacle. So, there are some schools where making a bowl is like that's the win. I don't know. There's no answer.
That was us 3 years ago. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
I went
so
to the
now it
Liberty
isn't.
Bowl when we were 6-6.
Now you
And
guys want to win the Big 12. Now you guys want to get to the CFP, which is exactly where you should be, by the way. But running your coach that's not a shortcut. No,
right.
there
With
is
all
no
of that within
shortcut to
5 years,
college football
going from
playoff.
winless to expecting conference, the CFB within 5 years. I mean, that's great, but I'm not necessarily sure that's reasonable expectations of growth.
Everybody's got to make up their own mind. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in tonight. I hope I gave you enough time to vent that.
Oh, you did. I think we don't have the horses in the trenches, but I'm hoping for 7 to 8 wins this year, and then line play develop next year, and hopefully make a really good run at it. But we'll have to see how the new quarterback turns out.
Yeah, I mean, at the end
go.
of the day, you guys were able to do something different. Jalen Daniels is whatever. Boy, the kid has gifts, but he's also got holes in his game and his injuries. So
Ball control. That's the you can't hold the ball like a loaf of bread.
yes, yeah, that's Russell Wilson-esque, I believe. Anyway, It's great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks,
We'll
man.
talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
I'm going to clap out both Ryan Willie and all the super chats. I've been neglecting clapping tonight. I apologize to everybody. You can't tell I've been a little distracted with everything. I've got another 15 minutes. I'm not going to, unless you guys pay me to stick around with a bunch of super chats, I'm only going to minutes, but another call. In here.
Call from.
Hey, the diesel freak, Nathan.
Let's
To
see
accept,
here.
press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
No, and decline. Caden, can you hear me?
Nathan, how you been?
I'm
Good,
doing.
sir. It's been a while.
It's been a minute. How are you doing?
Living the dream. Harvest is hammering down, and we're almost done, Nathan. I wanted to talk to you about a couple things, especially what I've been hearing from other Big 12 fans, and I gotta say, and especially Evil Badger. I mean, I give a Wisconsin fan a credit for what he said, but I'm not gonna judge him.
Okay, all right.
The whole 24 playoff team thing is a load of BS.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to see 24 teams compete. I mean, 12 teams is fine, but 24? Okay. No way. I'm not watching the NCAA men's basketball tournament rankings come to college football. Like, absolutely not. Seriously.
Just because?
I mean, 12 teams is enough. Like, 12 teams.
I know, but what's the reason not to want more football?
I mean, we've already got, the conference championship games and then the playoff games? The 4 that we already got to play, the semifinal and then the first round? Yes. I mean, that's far enough for me, as far as I'm concerned, Nathan.
You don't want more football?
Opinion. No, I mean, I'd rather, have the off season.
Right.
And then, let the teams be able to rest and then be able to say, you know what, the off season's here and, the national champions been declared. And I mean, you got to have an off season. Like, for the love of God, it's ridiculous.
So
but I wanted to
go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
But what were you going to say?
It doesn't matter. Keep going. I want to give you time.
But I wanted to get your thought on an opinion I said to somebody, and especially some friends of mine.
Okay.
And I said about this, and I don't know how you and the Big 12 Mafia would feel. Ohio State comes to the Big 12 if that happens.
Right.
And I said, if Ohio State comes to the Big 12, I said it'd be better competition because that is like the only legit conference right now that actually has serious competition playing every single week. And I'll tell you this, that is the only conference I've been watching this week. And I haven't even watched because my Buckeyes were on were off.
Right.
I was like, well, I'll just tune in the Big 12 football because they're the only conference that actually has some good football playing.
I appreciate that. I love that. I love hearing people watching Big 12 football.
It's literally SEC football, garbage. ACC football, garbage. The Big 10 football, garbage. Our conference is so full of crap, and it's just garbage. And the only team that's actually good is Oregon. Indiana's overrated. And, I mean, seriously, Michigan needs to stay at the bottom of the barrel with Nebraska and Wisconsin. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I mean, I can't stand it. And I've said this, Nathan.
I have heard you, yes.
I want better competition for Ohio State. And I said the Big 12 is that conference. So if Ohio State did move to the Big 12, I would be happy that we did because I know BYU would be giving us some problems offensively and defensively wise along with Texas Tech. And plus, I don't know if Big 12 Mafia agrees with me, but if they don't, y'all can comment it. Nathan, y'all can tell me otherwise on Twitter or, tonight. But
right.
I would have maybe just get your thoughts on that if Ohio State did move to the Big 12.
For one thing, I'd love it. For another thing, I think for maybe, I don't know, a certain amount of time, I'm not sure how long it would be. Instead of Ohio State coming down, I think the rest of the Big 12 would come up to compete.
Right.
And I think it would be fantastic for the conference. I would love everybody's in one big group and competes, for the championship all together, all whatever, 68, 70 teams or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing. Notre Dame, for the love of God, I cannot figure out why they have to be the top 12, top 16 when they lost 2 games already and probably about to lose a third game. Like, seriously. I can't stand Notre Dame, and I know anybody for the Big 12 can't stand Notre Dame. Like, Notre Dame should go to the Big 12 and absolutely get their butts kicked by BYU and Texas Tech. Like, for the love of, just come on, man. Like, come to the Big 10. You're going to get your butt kicked by Ohio State and that team up north, which I don't know about that one, but I'll need that to be a rivalry revisited at Penn State. I mean, that's no question. They win that one, but Ohio State would be the only one to give them problems besides Oregon. But, Notre Dame fans should understand the only reason that they're in independent school is because either A, they're afraid of getting their butts kicked by Ohio State every year, or B, they see the Big 12 as a threat because they know that their national championship opportunity could hang in the balance, but also be in jeopardy because if Texas Tech or Kansas were to beat BYU in the regular season and hand them one of 3 or 4 losses, that would look bad on their resume. And I know they fire Marcus Freeman the next year later, or even a month later, and then they go to a next coach, fired, and so on. So I mean, there's just my thought, Nathan. But I need anybody for the Big 12 could disagree with me, but I know most Notre Dame fans hate me. And if you didn't hear, Nathan, I got called out by a bunch of Notre Dame fans on Twitter.
I didn't know that.
I got called out by Will and D and a bunch of his cronies on Twitter last week. And I don't know if it was Will and D or I know it was someone in Will and D's chat group that was telling him that I'm the worst Ohio State fan on commenting about Notre Dame. When I literally simply said they need to be held accountable and they need to actually play tough competition because being an independent school sucks. And not playing any good competition is terrible. Like, you shouldn't be going to the playoffs and not play good competition. Like, I'm going to say this as an Ohio State fan. and you know this, Nathan, and I've said this, I'll admit it, our conference is garbage. Seriously, it's garbage. And I would be happy if we moved to the Big 12 and they came up and, we played Iowa State once a year at home and on the road. It'd be fun to play Iowa State on the road, BYU on the road, Utah on the road, at Utah, revisit a little Rose Bowl rivalry. Texas Tech used to come up here. We used to go down there and play them. I mean, it'd just be something interesting for me because those are matchups I hadn't seen because I was born like the year after they beat Texas Tech and then won the national championship. But that was Coach Tressel. That was the Coach Tressel era. But I feel like that will gain the Big 12 more traction, but also the Big 10 should just stay with like Notre Dame, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State. Like that seriously should be the Big 10. And then the Big 12, obviously, Ohio State, and then everybody else including Iowa State. Because there's some powerhouses. And I've said this for 8 months, Nathan, and I've told you this on Twitter. The Big 12 is a powerhouse for the last 8 months. And I still stand by it. Notre Dame and Alabama fans can call me out for that, but I don't care.
Okay.
I stand by what I say. So I'm going to leave it at that with a Big 12 fan, but I'll love hearing from you, Nathan, as always. And, hey, be sure to make sure to stay up to date on my Twitter because I do have a lot more to say besides the voice of college football calling me out for, I don't know why the heck they have a problem with me calling out people for their nonsense against Ohio State fans. But, that's me talking about Ohio State football. But keep your eyes on my Twitter. I've got some things I'm going to post that I think you might be interested in as far as Big 12 is concerned. So appreciate you, Nathan, as always. And go Bucks, go Cougs. And Daniel Gyagax, go Mountaineers, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Caden. Have a great night and go Ohio State. Yeah, boy, Caden always comes in hot. Ohio State in the Big 12, that'd be great. I would think it's more likely that conferences become more resting places for all their other sports and basketball, and football does something different. I'm on record with that. Unless something in the absolute universe changes, maybe the I-3 Hail Bop, whatever that thing is coming, is going to kill us in a couple of years in space. Notre Dame is not joining a conference. They want no part of competing with anybody else for anything. They can play 12 games, less games than everybody else, and get to the CFP. Why would you change that? It's not for money. What's a national championship worth? I could do a whole series of. I had to get with Mark and ask him that question. What's a national championship? National championship is legendary, lasts forever. Nobody cares how much money you made from year to year. In fact, football's normally been a net zero for money.
Call from
Steve.
Steve, how are you doing?
What's going on, Bomber?
Not much. I'm just trying to get through life, How are you?
Good. You figure out that CBA yet? We need it.
Boy, I would love to be smart enough to figure it out. How come we can't just say, yes, there is a CBA? Wouldn't that be simple?
Oh, boy, it'd be a mountain to climb, but I'd love to see it. And
I know you were way more experienced in the whole thing. I just, from just a third-party perspective, I think a CBA would do wonders for college football.
Me too. Wanted to weigh in on a couple of things.
Please do.
First and foremost, Luke Fickell, and I'm gonna bring it from a Cincinnati viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
He took over from Tommy Tuberville at Cincinnati, which was probably in the last 25 years, when you look at D'Antonio you look at Kelly, you look at Butch Jones, and then we get Tuberville in there because he was good friends with the AD, da-da-da-da-da. Well, Tuberville kind of ran it into the ground. Fickle takes over. What Fickle did take over, and I gotta give Tuberville credit, and I don't know how he did it because he was out the country club drinking and playing golf most of the time, but he recruited some good people. And
You're talking about Cincinnati now, right?
Yep.
Okay,
And when
yeah.
Fickle came in, I'm gonna get the Fickle here. When Fickle came in, he had some good talent on that team. And if
Okay.
people don't believe that, all they gotta do is look at Fickle's kid players that were drafted. I mean, lots of kids drafted
Yep.
off of. They went and played a Peach Bowl. Before they went to the CFP, they went and played a Peach Bowl.
Yep.
Well, they played Georgia in the Peach Bowl. Okay, he had great talent. Now remember, that was still when Marcus Freeman was his defensive coordinator, and Mike Denbrock was his offensive coordinator. They had two great assistant coaches. All right, they had Georgia on the ropes in the fourth quarter. I had never in my life, and you know how old I am, Nathan, I don't have to tell anybody else, but I'm a pretty old guy.
Yeah.
Never in my life saw the last 6 minutes of a game so terribly managed in my life. Fickle hung them out to dry with terrible decisions the last 6 minutes. They should have beat Georgia in the Peach Bowl. Okay, so now let's fast forward. Coming in with a team that's really, really talented. The next year, of course, they get to the CFP, right?
Yes.
They didn't get embarrassed by Alabama. Nick Saban had some good things to say about the talent that they had. Just probably was Alabama had twice the talent they did. But anyhow, all right, so you have to remember the year they go to the CFP, he no longer had Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman left to go with Brian Kelly when Kelly was at Notre Dame to be Kelly's defensive coordinator. I'll tell you how good that Cincinnati team was. They went up to South Bend and beat Notre Dame. That pushed them into the playoffs as the season progressed, and they beat their old defensive coordinator. So that's a very, very good football team. Fast forward to the next season. They lost some talent, but they still had enough talent to win the American Conference. They really did. Not taking anything away from the rest of the teams in the American. They had some, well, I was reading, I was hearing, I was watching, and about the 6th, 7th game of the season, and they were still stacked with talent, there was a different, it's hard to say, atmosphere, okay, around. They were going to go to the Big 12 championship game, Big 12, the American Conference championship game.
Right.
But there's a whole different atmosphere around this team. Well, Fickle was, quite frankly, not recruiting very well. That last season is. Quite frankly, he was on the phone.
I was going to say he was distracted. He wasn't in Cincinnati. He was looking for a big
He wasn't
gig.
in Cincinnati.
You could tell that.
Now, granted, a couple years before that, he interviewed for the Michigan State job, interviewed for some other nice jobs that he didn't take. His wife was very upset, and you got to understand, Fickle's son was playing. He wasn't starting, but he was at Cincinnati. He was on the team. Well, his wife is pissed off at the Cincinnati press because they're starting to say things the last half of his last season that things aren't quite right here. You know, nobody had blamed Fickle for taking another job. Nobody would have. But the way he handled the last part of that, his last season at Cincinnati, was not good. It wasn't good. His wife's mad at Cincinnati Press. You know, I got news for you. Cincinnati Press would rather get on the Bengals and the Reds 100 times more than they'd rather get on the Bearcats.
Right.
Okay? They'd rather write negative things about the Bengals and the Reds than they would the Bearcats are third. They come in third pretty much with Cincinnati Press, okay? So she wanted out of there, okay? She wanted out of Cincinnati. Well, he takes the Wisconsin job. Everybody knew he was gone somewhere. They didn't know where. And he walks in to a situation that wasn't all that bad. Wasn't great, but it wasn't all that bad. And I think the results of the last 3 years, 2.5 years, basically tells you where he stands as far as building a program, because he hasn't. And he didn't build a Cincinnati program. I'll tell you, he had some talent, and he refined it. He had Sauce Gardner. He had Des Ridder.
Yeah, but he took the Kalen DeBoer school of taking a team, building it to the CFP, and moving on to Wisconsin.
And that's okay.
Yeah, but Wisconsin didn't have the same talent to do that again, which is exposing Fickle.
Right, and he's been exposed, and there was a big drop-off without Marcus Freeman, although, like I said, they went up to Notre Dame and beat Freeman when he was a defensive coordinator up there, and he lost Denbrock, and he lost some other key assistants, and, hey, they went somewhere else, more money, more prestige, whatever you want to call it. But it was just, I don't know, I'm looking at it from a Cincinnati point of view of how he handled it, and he didn't handle it all that well. He didn't handle the last half of his last season very well, and everybody knew, and that's okay. But anyhow, next thing I want to jump to real quick.
Yeah, real quick, because I was going to go 2 hours.
All right, buddy.
So go ahead. Yep.
All right. 2014 playoff, right?
Yeah.
There's 8 buys. The only way you can do a 2014 playoff is with 8 buys.
Oh, that's what. Yes. Well, it's not 8. It's the 1 through 8 that get a first round bye. That's right. I said that.
Yep, 8 buys. 8 buys.
Yep.
Now, you want a commission who couldn't get things right a lot of times with a 4 freaking team playoff to say who's going to get 8 buys in the first round in a college football playoff? Come on, you guys. Come on. And
I just said the top 25. I didn't really say a commission or
okay. Who's going to determine the team?
That's a great that's a great question. Who determines the buys now? What's the difference?
Do that? And let me ask you this.
Okay.
Where are you going to find time slots to broadcast these games? The NFL machine, and they're doing it already on a lot of, they're doing it on Black Friday. Oh, yeah, college football is on Black Friday. Well, guess what the NFL's done? Okay, they're going to come in, they're going to play, they're going to eat you up. Okay? Now, you tell me where you're going to find time slots. Everybody thinks this is a big money grab. I hate to break the news to everybody. ABC, ESPN carries NFL playoff games and Monday Night Football. NBC, CBS, and Fox. If anybody in college football thinks that any of these networks are going to not carry NFL and carry college, you folks are nuts. folks ain't got a clue. You don't have a clue. That NFL machine will eat up college football first round 24-team playoff or even a 16-team playoff. They will eat them up.
But what's the difference
Spit them
now?
out.
But they're doing it now, Steve. So what's the difference?
That's what I mean.
But,
well, where are you going? You want to play?
Who's
You
gonna-
want to play? You want to play these? You want a 16 or 24-team playoff, and you want to play them on Wednesday night? You sure as hell ain't going to play them on Monday night. It's Monday night football.
Look, Bob said years ago that the CFP and the NFL had negotiations to work all that crap out, and the CFP thumbed their nose at them. And Bob said, fine. The NFL is just going to come in and do whatever they want to do. Anything can be negotiated. On top of that, we're talking about December football. We're not talking about NFL playoff football. I'm not saying it won't get bigger numbers, but let me give you and really
NFL plays Saturday games.
They
during
do.
December.
Absolutely, they do. This is my question. If they already are playing a bowl game on December 17th, the Sun Bowl, the Hula Bowl, whatever, and they're getting 1.5 to 2 million people to watch some gobbledygook combination of teams, won't they at least draw that amount for any level of CFP game?
That's to be determined.
I'd be willing to bet it would draw bigger numbers.
You ain't playing
random bowl game.
I got news for you. Monday nights, Thursday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays, the NFL will do whatever the hell they want.
But they already are, Steve. That's my point. This isn't new.
That's what I mean.
The NFL's doesn't have more content to pile on college football. They've only got so many teams.
I get that. So where are you going to put these? Where are you going to put these playoff games?
Where they are now.
Oh,
they're already going head to head.
With 24
in the end of December.
Yeah, they went head to head. And I would encourage anyone to look at playoff games that went head to head against an NFL game, and look at the numbers. Look at the numbers, because you're talking about a comparison, Steve, between 0 and a 0. They're already going head to head. The NFL's not going to play nice.
They already are playing nice. They already aren't.
They're not, and they never will. And they'll play right. And they'll play less nice.
I don't know how you play less nice than they already are. Play on Fridays.
Yeah.
That's the only other day they could take up that isn't already taken up. Thursday, Friday. It was Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So you don't think they'll play 3 games on a Saturday instead of 1 or 2?
Oh, I think they might play 6 games a day. What I'm saying is I don't think it matters. The NFL's got baked in viewership.
Okay, you can believe what you want. I'm just telling you, you got your broadcast buddy, and I respect him greatly, and I respect all his opinions. I got a broadcast buddy, okay?
Right.
And he's saying you want to go to a 24-team playoff or a 16-team playoff? Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck. It's just. You better stay at 12, and you better like it.
Yeah, I don't. The NFL's not adding more teams. They don't have more content to bury college football with already.
They've got time slots, Nathan. They can bury college football.
Okay.
They're
already doing that.
All right. No.
Okay.
Not to the extent that they can.
I don't.
Not to the extent that they can. They can do it on a Saturday. They're
already doing 2 games. In fact, last year I think they played 3 games on a Saturday in December.
I don't think they played 3 games the day the college football playoffs were on. But I'll look that up.
Yeah, I'm not
I'll look
100%
that up,
positive.
but
I know this. We're seeing more NFL in December than we've ever seen before. They're playing more Thursday games. They're now playing double games on Mondays.
Mondays, yep.
And they already own Sunday, and they've been playing on Saturday now for 2 decades or 3 decades. So, or even
Try
longer than
4.
that.
I'm old enough to remember.
Yeah,
try
so there
4
you go.
decades playing on
Forever
Saturday.
in a day, essentially. So, I what I'm saying is the NFL is going to draw whatever the NFL is going to draw. College football is a growing asset. I don't see the NFL.
You guys can all believe that college
10 or
football is
15%.
undervalued. You can believe that college football is undervalued, and it is. But you need some valuable time slots and to sell and ad sales, buddy. Tuesday night, yeah, there's not much on. You want to play a college football game on Tuesday night? Have at it. You want to play on a Wednesday night? Have at it.
I don't think I've suggested either of those.
No, I'm not saying you did, Nathan. I'm just saying in the big picture, have at it.
Okay. I appreciate it, Steve.
Right,
Thank
buddy.
you so much for calling in. It's great to hear from you.
All right, take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. That is Steve, Ohio, Florida. Steve, sorry. Ohio, Florida, calling in. I really appreciate it. Look, everybody's got a platform here. You don't have to agree with me, although I like that. I think everybody's opinion matters. In fact, that's why I do this, is to actually have disagreements with people, because that's how I learn stuff. And Steve has been around almost twice as long as I have, so I do tend to listen. Well, not twice, I guess 2/3 as long as I have been around. Anyway, one more super chat, and I think this is the only one I haven't read. Ryan Willie earlier said, "What is he smoking?" I think he was talking about Caden when Caden was calling in. Caden, people love to disagree with him too. That everybody's opinion matters. Everybody's opinion matters. Anyways, I hope you guys had fun. This was a lot of fun for me, a lot of therapy. First hour of the show, I was able to vent quite a bit. We didn't reach our limit, so I'm not going to sing the BYU fight song, but that's probably for the better anyway. If you guys have anything else you want us to talk about, make sure you follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment or a question, and definitely, if you're on X, jump over on YouTube and go to College Football Mafia and hit the subscribe button. I love to have those numbers go up, and we're learning and gaining every day. Tomorrow night, Moen and Becky and Pickles, I think, have a show. I'm not sure. Can't remember what Moen's doing tomorrow night. Maybe I can see a title here. Give me 1 second. Where in the heck? I apologize. I wasn't knowing I was going to do this. Give me 1 second here. Moen has a show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It is called, oh boy, Arrivals and Departures. Who lands where in college football's coaching carousel, I think is what that says. I can't see the whole world, but boy, yeah, coaches, carousels, all that other fun stuff. I just don't have time for the coaching thing, because I don't think any of it matters. If your boosters want to step up and you want to win, you're going to pay coaches. Coaches have a bigger effect on outcomes in college football than anything other than Little League baseball, in my opinion. And yeah, you want to win, you got to have the right coach at the right time, with the right mantra, with the right story, and the right culture, which is not talked about enough. I could do a whole show on culture. And I think how much culture matters. Huge. Culture is massive, because it dictates character, and life isn't college football, even though we all live, breathe it. In real life, at the end of the game, this is all a game, right? There's real things that go on out in the world, that this is just entertainment, no matter how much passionate we are about it. And that's why I think culture makes such a big difference, and why these schools are getting impatient at the end of the day. So I want to thank everybody for calling in tonight. Thank you so much for your opinions and your content and everything else. You guys are the best fans and viewers and all social media, and I really appreciate it. I know the team here at College Football Mafia Nation believes that, and we thank everybody for doing everything they can for us. Make sure you subscribe and follow us and all that fun stuff. And I'm going to say good night. Everybody be safe. Take care of your family, friends. Travel safe tomorrow. Have a good week. Watch tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And Moen's art, if anything, he's entertaining. And he does a good job at it. And I know he appreciates everybody as well. So everybody stay out of trouble, and let's go BYU in the off season or in the off week. You can win. And if you're in the Big 12, keep winning. That's all you can do. Cincinnati and Houston and Texas Tech got big games. Can't lose. Got to keep going. Utah, Cincinnati, underappreciated game this weekend. Should be entertaining. Everybody have a great time. And we will see you on Friday night. That's when I'll be back. Stay good and